What's going on? I'm John, and today I'm going to show you how to build a MILS curved road plate. If you're not sure what MILS is or why it's used in Lego builds, check out my other video on how to level up your Lego with MILS. Plus, I'll be sharing a tool with you on how I calculate exactly how many pieces and what pieces I need when I'm building my entire road system. Before we dive in, I've seen a lot of different designs for curved road plates, and they all work really well. This is just what's worked really well for me, and I really like the design of these, so I want to share it with you, so hopefully it'll work well for you too. Let's get started. All right, so let's go over what you'll need. I'll break down the parts based on components so it's easier to follow. Feel free to pause the screen and take a screenshot. These are the pieces I'll be using for this tutorial. So we'll start building by prepping our base plate, just like any other MILS plate. We'll start with the corners. I like doing this because it helps me guide where everything else is gonna go. Once your corners are in, we can go ahead and grab our base plates. You're gonna flip your base plates upside down onto the base plate to figure out where you want the curve to go. You're gonna line them up in an L shape. Then you're gonna grab some plates to connect these road plates together. So there's a 1 plate gap between the road plate and the base plate. For this, you can use any color plate or any size plate you'd like, as long as you're just creating a 1 plate gap between the road plate and the base plate. I like to place mine along the edges and in the middle areas so that it's fully supported. Once you have all the plates connected onto the base plate, you can go ahead and flip it over and place it down onto your base plate. Make sure the 2 edges of your half road plates are matched with the edge of the base plate. This acts as a guide for our next step. Now go ahead and grab your 2x2 plates and stack them on top of each other. Doesn't matter what color you're using for this, so these will not be seen at all. Once you have this little stack, you'll grab your 2x2 tile in dark bluish gray and place it right on top like this. You'll end up creating 2 of these if you only have 1 corner. Once these are built, you'll place 1 here on the inside of the L shape, and you'll place the next one diagonal to that. The height of these should line up perfectly with your road plate. After that, you'll grab your 1x2 plates and stack those on top of each other. And on top of that, put your 1x2 tile. When you're done, it should look like this, and you'll end up with 2 of them. These 2 will sit on the outside curve 4 studs away from the outside corner. Once you're done with that, what I like to do next is go ahead and tile off the road plate. I like to do this now because when we're working on the support structure, the plates lay on top of the road plate, so it makes it a little hard to put the tiles down. I also like to leave these open studs on the edges of the road in case I want to connect it to another road later. Now let's move on to the side roads. These are built very similarly to these straight road side roads, but the 2 main differences are it's not going to be 32 studs long, and I only use 1 connection point. When building these side roads, you're going to end up with 2 different sets of side roads. One that's 18 studs long and one that's 6 studs long. You have dark bluish gray bricks at the bottom, white plates in the middle, and dark bluish gray tile on top. For the smaller one, you're going to have bricks at the bottom, white and dark bluish gray plates in the middle, and on the top, there will be 1 1x2 dark bluish gray tile, 1 1x2 dark bluish gray plate, and 1 1x2 white tile. The reason why we build the shorter ones like this is because as the road turns in, we want to symbolize that the line is also turning in. To connect it to your road plate, you're going to simply take your 1x2 Technic brick with the 2 pinholes in it and push it onto the 1x2 exposed plate that you have on top. You'll go ahead and do this for all 4 side roads that you've made. When placing the 6 stud long side road in, it should line up perfectly with the edge and with a 2x2 little tower that you built earlier. For the 18 stud one, it should line up perfectly with the 1x2 tower that you've made earlier, right along the road plate. It should look something like this when you're done with it. Now we can move on to the inner curve and the outer curve and build our support structures. We'll start with the inner curve first. I'm going to go ahead and place a support brick right in the middle and use my 3x3 curved plate to place it right on the outside. From there, I like using a 3x3 plate towards the inside and finishing it off with more dark bluish gray plates. Again, depending on the size of plates that you're using, it may change the pattern a little bit from what I'm doing here. As long as you're covering the entire corner with plates, that's all you need. Once your corner is all set, we'll work on the outside. This part is very similar to any other MILS plate. you just put bricks down and plates on top of that to support. When I'm working on this, I tend to work from the outside into the turn because it helps me line up what plates I need, because I like to always have a uniform pattern throughout. As I approach the inside, I know I'm gonna have to use these angled plates. So what I'll do now is actually place down the corner one and line up the other angled plates as well. For this, I know the 6x6 plate will be placed down and line up perfectly with the 1x2 towers that we built earlier alongside the road plates. Once that's down, I can line up where the 2x3 angled plates will go next. You're gonna need to figure out where they're gonna go so you can put bricks down to support them underneath. Once you have your corner in, you can fill the rest of this area with plates supported by bricks. Sometimes you'll have these awkward areas where you'll need to fill in some plates, but there's gaps underneath. That's okay. You can just lift up the plates from there, place plates underneath for support, and go from there. Once you have it all plated off, then you can add your tile on for the sidewalk. For your inner curve, this is where you're going to use your 2x2 curved tile and your 1x2 curved tile. It should line up perfectly with a curved plate underneath. I also like to line the first 2 studs alongside the road with 1x tile to signify a curb. Remember, you can place your tile down in any pattern that you like, use any color that you like as well. I just like doing this for my city because it's a nice, clean, uniform look. I also like to place these 2x2 jumpers or these 2x2 plates with 2 studs or 4 studs on top, just so I can add things later on like minifigures, benches, traffic lights, or anything else really. For your outer curve, this is where you're going to be using the 2x2 angled tiles to fill in these gaps, as well as these 2x3 light bluish gray plates. When you're all done tiling everything off and filling in the top layer, you're all done. Congratulations, you've successfully built yourself a MILS curved road. I like this curve a lot because it offers a nice, clean, smooth turn for a nice seamless look in my Lego city. Now let's talk about how you can save some money while building these MILS plates, road plates, whatever it may be. I shared a few tips in my other video on how to level up your Lego city with MILS, so if you haven't seen that one, check that out. I'm just picking up from there. So tip number 4, use old bricks or printed bricks. I know we all have some old Lego laying around or whatever it may be. If you're not using it, not playing with it, go ahead and use it for the support layer of your plates. Tip number 5. You can use any color plates you want for your support structure. I'm choosing to use dark bluish gray because my pad wall has had a lot of the dark bluish gray plates, so I have a ton of them. So it makes it easy for me to use the same thing, and plus it matches with my road plates. But I've seen a lot of people using light bluish gray plates instead so they can match with their sidewalk. It's totally up to you. Feel free to use any color you want though. Tip number 6. Calculate what you need. I created this Google Sheet and I'll make sure to share it in the comments below, but essentially it's a calculator. It helps me figure out what pieces I need, how many I need for whatever I'm building. This is how I calculate the number of pieces and the piece type I need when I'm building roads, curves, intersection, ballasting train tracks. But again, this is just the tip of the iceberg. There's so much more than figuring out how many pieces you'll need for a curved road plate or a straight road plate, whatever it is. It's figuring out your entire road system, figuring out how much room you have for all of this. But again, I'll be covering that in a later video as the series progresses. I'll make sure to share a link with that calculator in the description below. So if you need it at all, feel free to copy it, download it, and use it on your own. Remember, this is what I figured out for myself and it works really good for me. And I hope that it works well for you too. If you decide to change up some pieces, some colors here and there, feel free to do so. Just remember, it may change the layout of how you're laying your pieces down. If you have any questions, comments, or tips of your own, I'd love to hear it. Please leave it in the comments below. And until next time, stay creative and keep building. Want to learn how to build a curved MILS strip? I'll also be using these. So we'll start building. These are built very similarly. I shared 3 tips early.